Namaskar. Myself, Dr. Ela Tanna, Associate Professor in the Department of Rognidan and Vikruti Vigyan at main campus of Uttarakhand Ayurveda University, Dehradun. Today, we will learn about the concept of Ama. So, at the end of this lecture, you would be able to understand what is armor and what are the factors responsible for production of armor, what are the qualities of armor, what are the symptoms through which you can diagnose the amavastha of dosha, dushya and mala. And at the end, you would also be able to decide the line of treatment during amavastha of any disease. So let me start the lecture and share PowerPoint presentation with you. Suppose you are sitting in the OPD and one male patient around the age of 35 to 40 years comes to you and complains about unexplained fatigue and drowsiness. He doesn't feel enthusiastic and energetic at all. Gradually, he is losing inclination towards work. He doesn't feel refreshed when he wakes up in the morning. He doesn't feel like eating anything, and even if he eats anything, he is not able to digest it properly. So he feels the symptoms of indigestion like abdominal bloating, etc. He feels constipated often. He has gone through routine hematological and biochemical investigation, but all the reports are within normal limit. So, can you please tell me what would be the probable diagnosis of this patient? Okay, let me give you one hint. May I ask you why do we eat Deepan Pachan drug in almost all our prescription? You would have seen many prescription. Either you would find Amapachan Vati or Chitraka Adivati or Agni Tundi Vati, Trikatu Churna, Musta Churna, etc. etc. Right? But why do we add Deepan Pachan drugs in our prescription? Yes, because we know that all the diseases have their root from Mandagni. This is why Acharya Vagbhatta has quoted Rogaha Sarve Api Mandegno. The same thing is explained in modern science in other words. It says healthy gut leads to healthy body. You know, all the symptoms described by this patient are nothing but the symptoms of ama. The symptoms of ama goes like Sroto Rodaf Balapranshah Gaurava Nilamudhata Alasya Apakti Nishtiva Malasanga Aruchiklamaha. All these symptoms we are going to discuss in this lecture further. But before going to understand ama, we need to know what is Agni. So, what is Agni? Agni is the key element responsible for digestion and metabolism. Anything we take as a food, it should be properly digested, properly absorbed, assimilated, and the waste should be excreted from the body in order to maintain our body and keep it happy, keep it healthy. So, these all functions are to be performed by Agni. So Agni is nothing but the chemical agencies responsible for digestion and metabolism. Now, if you know the Agni is responsible for digestion, absorption, assimilation and excretion. So what is Ama? If Agni doesn't perform its action well, then there will be production of Ama. So Ama is nothing but the toxins created as a result of improper digestion absorption and excretion at macro and micro level of the body. Macro level means if digestion at the level of GIT gets disturbed, then what will happen? The toxins will be created, and micro level means the at the level of toxins created at the level of tissue metabolism, right? So AMA is an entity existing in a state of incomplete transformation. The food doesn't reach to its end product, right? So here I'd like to let you know that AMA is not a disease entity in itself, but it's a prodromal stage of many diseases. It has a central role in initiating pathogenesis of many diseases. So if you have seen, or you would see the samprapti of Jvara, Amavata, Prameha, Medoroga, Pandu, Kamla, you would be able to appreciate the role of Ama in samprapti of these diseases, in pathogenesis of these diseases. So AMA is an index of the inability of an organism to achieve a new steady state of equilibrium. It is both diagnostic as well as therapeutic value. So if we need to understand AMA, we also need to understand the process of digestion and metabolism as per Ayurvedic perspective. You know that whenever we take any food, then total 3 Agnis, mainly 3 Agnis work on that. Jataragni, Bhutagni and Dhatwagni. These 3 Agnis are responsible for digestion and metabolism. We take food, and under the influence of Jataragni, it's break down into 5 distinct physico-chemical groups, that is Panch Mahabhutas. So Jataragni converts food into Panch Mahabhutas. Now through Amashaya it goes down to the tract called Grahani, and here in Grahani this food gets mixed with Pachaka Pitta, and then it gets absorbed through microvilli of the intestine and goes to the portal circulation, right? Now the function of Bhutagni starts here. What does it do? It converts the respective portion of Panchamahabhutas into the assimilable form. Here, after at the end of intestinal digestion, whatever the substances, food substances have converted to, these substances are not able to get assimilated by tissues. So the function of Bhutagni is to convert their own part of element in tissue specific, right? So see, the food which we take is Panchabhautik, and each and every cell of our body is also Panchabhautik. So Bhutagni, what does it do? It does two functions mainly, Sajati Karana and Atmi Karana. The food which we do take is not tissue specific or body specific. So Bhutagni converts these substances and make it to the body specific or tissue specific. And what does the Dhatvagni does? It generates specific homogeneity to make it tissue specific and make this nutrients part and parcel of the tissue. We'll see this in little depth. Under the influence of Jataragni, ingested food is break down into 5 distinct physico-chemical components, that is Panchamahabhutas, and in Amashaya. From Amashaya, the food passes to the tract called Grahani. In this stage, it gets mixed with Pachak Pitta. Now, Each and every cell of our body is composed of Panch Mahabhutas, and the food which we consume is also composed of Panch Mahabhutas. So Bhutagni digests their own part of elements present in the food material, and here no any new substance is created. Mind well, Acharya Chakrapani has says after the function of Bhutagni, no any new substance is produced, but yes, newer qualities similar to that particular Mahabhuta is produced, and these qualities nourish their own specific bhautik element in the body. So the function of Bhutagni is Sajati Karana and Atmi Karana. That is to convert food particles into the molecules which are similar to that of body molecule, and to convert heterogeneous substances into homogeneous substances. Again, through Jataragni Paka, food is converted into breakdown into Panch Mahabhutas, and what does this Bhutagni does? They digest their own part of element present in the food material, and qualities similar to that particular Mahabhutas are generated, and through this the specific elements of the tissue is being nourished. If we have to understand this as per the modern science, though it cannot be actually correlated, but still some books have shown this examples. So let me explain you this. If we take the digestion and metabolism process of carbohydrate, protein and fat, the carbohydrate part which we take through food, it's converted into its elemental form glucose at the end of intestinal digestion and under the influence of Jataragni. And again, this glucose is rebuilt as a glycogen in liver under the influence of Bhutagni. Same is with protein. The protein which we take through food is not directly become the part and parcel of the tissue. What happens at the end of intestinal digestion under the influence of Jataragni? It gets converted to its elemental form called amino acids. And again, these amino acids are resynthesized in the liver under the influence of Bhutagni to albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, and other plasma proteins. Same fat derived from either plant origin or animal origin, they are being converted to fatty acids and glycerol at the end of intestinal digestion, and again it's being resynthesized as organism specific lipids in the liver. So whatever takes place in portal circulation and liver, these are the Karya Kshetra of Bhutagni. It is only after the function of Bhutagni, the formation of Ahar Rasa is completed and assimilation of Rasa is possible. Function of Bhutagni starts in bloodstream, that is in portal circulation, and it ends before assimilation. So main center of Bhutagni Vyapar is liver. After Bhutagni Paka, Ahar needs some further processing till it takes a state of particular dhatu. The agency responsible for this Sukshma Paka is called Dhatvagni. After Bhutagni Paka in liver, nutrients are carried out towards the heart, and from the heart it gets circulated to all over the body, all the tissues. But it still lacks some homogeneity so that with that particular dhatu. For example, the nutrients for Mansa Dhatu goes to Mansa Dhatu, but it cannot directly become the part and parcel of the muscle. It further needs some homogeneity. So here some more transformation is needed, and this transformation takes place by the influence of Dhattvagni. So after Bhutagni Paka, Dhatu Poshakanshas are made, and this Dhatu Poshakansha, these nutrients are converted into Prasada and Kittapata due to Dhattvagni. So Prasada Pata is assimilable part and Kitta is non-assimilable part. So Dhattvagni converts nutrients into two parts, assimilable and non-assimilable part. Now this assimilable part, it's one part goes for nourishing that particular dhatu, one part goes to replenish the upadhatu of that particular dhatu, and the remaining one part goes to replenish the subsequent dhatu. Means it serves as poshakansha for next dhatu. And what happens to Kittapata? Through Kittapata, mala of that particular dhatu is being produced. So what is ama? At any level of digestion and metabolism, diminished function of Agni, either may it be Jataragni, Bhutagni or Dhattvagni, it causes intermediate metabolites which are not being excreted from the body is known as ama. Here, diminished function of Agni can be taken as disrupted enzymes and digestive juices at micro and macro level, due to which it inhibits complete transformation of food to desired end product. Means due to hypofunction of Agni, the food is not being able to completely transport and reach to its desired end product. And this leads to formation of ama. These intermediate metabolites are termed as ama. And this metabolite slows down the absorption process, it clogs the system and creates waste which cannot be excreted from the body. And this leads to manifestation of many diseases. Now you'd be easily able to understand this definition of ama. How does it go? Jatharanala daurbalyat avipakvastu yorasah sa ama samyako dehe sarva dosha prakopanaha. Jatharanala means Jathara plus Anala. Anala means Agni. Jatharanala means Jatharagni. Daurbalyat means due to its weakness or due to its hypofunction. That means due to hypofunction of Jatharagni, avipakvaha to your rasaha. Avipakvaha means immature. Ahar rasa is produced. So due to hypofunction of Jatharagni, immature rasa is produced, and this immature rasa is retained in amashaya, and due to its retention, it undergoes two processes called fermentation and putrefaction. And in this process, toxic substances are created which are responsible to vitiate all the three doshas, and these toxic substances are termed as ama. The same thing is explained by Acharya Vagbhatta as Ushmanolpa Balatvena Dhatum Adyam Apachitam Dushtam Amashayagatam Rasam Amam Prachakshate. So again, Ushmano Alpa Balatvena means diminished function of Agni. Adya Dhatu is not Dhatum Adyam Apachitam means Adya Ahar Dhatu is not properly matured. It remains immature. Dushtam Amashayagatam. It remains in amashaya, that is in stomach. It gets retention, and due to retention, it undergoes fermentation and putrefaction. So this state of rasa is termed as ama. Now these are some different opinions about the ama. various acharyas have opined something different as ama. So amam annarasam kechit tumala sanchayam prathamam dosha dushtim cha kechit amam prachakshate. Amam annarasam kechit means some acharyas believe that ama annarasa is ama. That means immature annarasa, improperly digested food, and through which the immature rasa is produced, that is termed as ama. And according to some other acharyas, kechittu mala sanchayam means accumulation of malas at different parts of the body are termed as ama. Whereas some acharyas believe that prathamam dosha dushtim cha kechit amam prachakshate. That is the first stage of doshik vitiation. That means the first stage of the disease is termed as ama. That means ama is prodromal stage of any disease, first stage of any disease. So these two, the first two opinions are self-explanatory, and again we are going to see it in detail while discussing the classification of ama. But here I would like to discuss this third type, third opinion. That is, ama is nothing but the first stage of doshik vitiation or first stage of any disease. So anything we take as a nidanas, what does it do? It vitiates the doshas, and what happens gradually sanchaya, prakopa and prasara of that particular doshas takes place, and again it goes through the dosha dushya samurchana, and during dosha dushya samurchana a new substance is produced, and this new substance is termed as ama, and this new substance is the root cause of every disease. Now let's come to the classification of ama. Now truly speaking, there are no different types of ama, but here the categories are like, Agni is responsible at various stages, and whenever the function of Agni is hampered, at that level, at that stage, the ama is being produced, and this ama gives to manifestation of many diseases. I mean, it creates many etiologies. So according to that particular stage and particular etiology, these categories are being described. So two broad categories are there depending upon the ama and independent of Agni. Independent of Agni is self-explanatory. We have already seen, that is dosha dushti janit ama, that is first stage of doshik vitiation. Now depending upon the ama, there are three types of Agni: Jataragni, Bhutagni and Dhatwagni. So there are three categories here as well: Jataragni Mandya Janit Ama, Dhatwagni Mandya Janit Ama and Bhutagni Mandya Janit Ama. Again, what does the Jataragni do? So at every stage, every action which is performed by Jataragni, so any level, if it gets disturbed, it gets hampered, then what will happen? At that stage, the ama will get produced and different etiologies will be created. So here four steps are being described. First stage is apakvanna roop ama, second stage is adya ahar dhatu roop ama, and third stage is rasasesha roop ama, and fourth is mala sanchaya roop ama. Now we'll see this all the four stages at which the ama is being produced, and it gives rise to various etiologies and gives manifestation to many diseases. Let's see Anna Rasarupa Ama. Due to improper function of Jataragni, the food which we ingest is not properly digested. Now, this undigested food, it's being retained in Amashaya. Due to its retention, it undergoes fermentation and putrefaction, and in this process, a new substance, a toxic substance is produced that acts as a poison. This fermented annarasa, if it comes out from the upper passage, then it causes chhardi. If it passes through the lower passage, then it may cause atisara. But if it gets excreted from both the passages, then it will cause vishuchika. So in either in Chhardi, Atisara and Vishuchika, in Samprapti of all these three diseases, there is a role of Jataragni Madhya Janit Ama. The second stage is Adya Ahar Dhaturup Ama. Again, due to improper function of Jataragni, food which we take remains undigested or half digested, and this undigested food is being absorbed through microvilli of the intestine, and it gets into the circulation and reaches through the Rasavaha Srotas. Now, there are two possibilities. If in Rasavaha Srotas, this undigested substance is being digested by Rasagni, then the person will not experience any symptoms of Ama. That means the Ama is being digested by Rasagni. So there will be no production of any disease, there will be no etiology caused. But if Rasagni is not able to perform its function, or if this any etiology, but if these undigested material leads to Rasagni Madhya, if it doesn't get digested by Rasagni and it becomes the cause for Rasagni Madhya, then it will lead to the production of manifestation of Jvara. The third stage is Rasasesharup Ama. Now here, due to excessive intake of food or either hypofunction of Agni, the food is not digested in terms of quantity and not in terms of quality. That means half the food is being digested properly and half of the food remains undigested. So this remaining undigested food here is termed as Rasasesharup Ama. Now this Rasasesharup Ama is the cause for Rasasesha Jirna. The fourth stage is Mala Sanchaya Rup Ama. We all know that function of Jataragni is also to disintegrate this Anna Rasa into Ahar Rasa into Prasada and Kitta, that is assimilable and non-assimilable part. But if this function gets hampered, gets disturbed, then what will happen? There will be no proper production of Prasada or Kitta Pata. If this Prasada Pata is not properly formed, then it will lead to Annarasa Rup Ama and Adya Ahar Dhatu Rup Ama and various etiologies which are being caused by this Ama. But if this Kitta part, that means this Mala are not produced properly, then there will be no normal physiological functions of this malas are being done. That is, what are the normal function of malas? That avastambham purishasya mutrasya kledavahanam. So these normal physiological functions of malas are not being performed properly. And what will happen? They are not even able to excrete it from the body. So they will cause some diseases like alasaka, vilambika, Udavarta Udarroga. You know what happens in ulcer? The food remains stagnant in the stomach itself. It doesn't excrete it from uh, upper or lower passage. Neither it gets digested. So if someone asks some examples of Jataragni Madhya Janit Vikara, then you can give the examples like Ajirna, Vilambika, Vishuchika, Udavart, Udarroga, Pravahika, Grahani, Atisar, etc. Now let's see Dhatavagni Madhya Janit Ama. The Vaishamya of Dhatavagni leads to impairment of intermediate metabolism, resulting in the production of incompletely metabolized substances which are obviously not fit for the utilization by Sthayi Dhatus or Updhatus or next Dhatu. So this is called as Dhatavagni Madhya Janit Ama. We have seen that what is the function of Dhatavagni? Dhatavagni converts nutrient parts into two parts, assimilable and non-assimilable, and through assimilable part, it gets part and parcel of Sthayi Dhatu, Upadhatu and next Dhatu. But due to Vaishamya or hypofunction of Dhatavagni, what happens? Due to its impairment, this process will not take place, so there will be no nourishment of the Sthayi Dhatus. Or faulty nourishment, you can say. So what are the examples of Dhatavagni Madhya Janit Ama Vikara? So these are some examples like Prameha, Urustambha, Jvara, Amavata, Veduroga, etc. Independent of Agni, that is the first stage of doshik vitiation. We have already covered it earlier. Now let's see qualities or properties of Ama. What are the qualities of Ama? Avipakvam, asanyuktam, durgandham, bahupichilam, sadanam sarvagatranam, Ama ityabhidhiyate. Dravam guru anekavarnam, hetu sarvaroganam, snigdham pichilam amam, tantumattam, anubatyashulam, durgandhi ityadi. We'll see the meaning one by one, the meaning of all these qualities. First of all, avipakvam. Avipakvam means immature, indigested, incompletely digested, incompletely metabolized, immature. This all terms referred as avipakvam. We know that due to malfunction of Agni, there will be improper digestion of the substances, incomplete metabolism. So this is referred as avipakvam. Asanyuktam. Asanyuktam means attached, being part and parcel. Here asanyuktam means these nutrients which are formed are not able to become the part and parcel of the tissue. So they remain in non-assimilable form. They are not being assimilated by the tissue. So this thing is termed here, referred as asanyuktam. Third is durgandham. Durgandham means of foul smell. So due to incomplete digestion and metabolism, the food substances remains in amashaya, and due to its retention, it causes fermentation and putrefaction, and at the end of putrefaction, the substances which are formed are of foul smell. That is durgandham. Next is pichilam. Pichilam means sticky. So due to its sticky nature, it sticks to healthy body tissues, even to srotas, dosha, dushyas, and become the cause of diseases. Drava. Drava means it's liquid in nature, so it spreads quickly and creates srotovarodha. Guru Snigdha Pichila. Due to presence of Snigdhata and Pichila Guna, Ama adheres to normal dosha dushya and slows down its normal movement and function. So this is the reason it's being called as Guru, because it slows down the function due to its quality like Snigdha and Pichila. Aneka Varna Yukta. On the basis of its origin, function and size, Ama shows different color. So it's known as Aneka Varna Yukta. Tantu Mantam. Tantu Mant means 3D. Due to Pichila Guna, it sticks to Mala and Sleshma and makes it 3D. That is Tantu Mattam. Snigdhatva. Snigdhatva means it adheres in healthy body tissues and make them sama and causes diseases. Now let's see what are the samanya lakshana, general symptoms of ama. That means how would you know that the person is experiencing the symptoms of ama? Through which symptoms you would be able to diagnose amavastha? So it goes like this. Sroto rodha balabhransha gauravani mudhata alasya apakti nishtiva malasanga aruchiklamaha. One by one we'll see the meaning of each symptom here. First of all, sroto rodha. What is sroto rodha? Rodha means obstruction, srota means srotas. Obstruction in srotas. Why does it happen? We all know that ama has qualities like snigdha and pichila. Due to these qualities, ama adheres to the walls of srotas, due to which the lumen of the srotas gets narrowed and normal functioning of, and due to this and it obstructs the way of srotas. So normal functioning of srotas gets disturbed and it leads to production of various diseases. The second symptom which the person will experience is balabhransha. Balabhransha means loss of strength. Person will feel lack of energy, fatigue, etc. Bala of any person depends on Sara. What is Sara? The Nacharya Chakrapani says, Vishuddha taro dhatuhu Sara iti uchyate. That means the optimum quality of dhatu, excellence of tissue is described as Sara. But what happened in case of Ama? Ama creates Srotorodha. And due to Srotorodha, the dhatus don't get proper nutrition. Due to lack of proper nutrition, the dhatus produced here are not with their optimum quality, and this is the reason why person feels lack of energy, fatigue during Amavastha. Gaurava. Gaurava means heaviness in the body. So when ama gets accumulated at different sides of the body, it creates heaviness in the body. Anila mudhata, very good symptom. You know that ama causes srotorodha, obstruction in the srotas. So due to this, the normal pathway of vayu is obstructed. So what will happen? The vayu will not be able to perform its normal physiological function. One of the physiological function of vayu is excretion of malas from the bodies. It excretes stool and floaters from the body upon vayu, you know. So anila mudhata, due to anila mudhata, what will happen? Person would feel difficulty in passing stool and flatus. Here, anila mudhata term cannot be restricted up to the difficulty in passing stool or flatus. All the normal physiological function of vata gets disturbed, gets hampered, and all these functions should be termed as anila mudhata. In Vata Kala Kali, their normal functions of vata are being described as vayus tantra yantradharaha, प्राणोदान समान व्यानापात्मा पानात्मा प्रवर्तकश्चेष्टानाम् उच्चावचानां नियंता प्रणेता च मनसः सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम् उद्योजकः सर्वशरीरधातुव्यूहकरः संधानकरः शरीरस्य. Many symptoms, many functions are being described in Vatakalakali Adhyay, and you would be able to understand that during Amavastha all these actions are being hampered, are being disturbed, and this all should be considered as Anila Mudhata. Means normal function of Vayu Vata dosha is being hampered, is being disrupted. Alasya, due to heaviness in the body, there will be feeling of fatigue without doing any work. Apakti means feeling of indigestion. Nishthiva, when food is not digested properly, a reflex is set which increases salivary secretions and results in frequent spitting. So during Amavastha, person will experience increased salivary secretion, which will be reflected as frequent spitting. Malasanga. So Malasanga here is not again restricted to Mahasrotasa. It should be considered at both macro level and micro level. At macro level, Srotorodha at the level of Mahasrota causes Vibandha, that is Malasanga, and at micro level, Srotorodha at tissue level, the Malasanga at tissue level will occur. Means there will be accumulation of waste products at the level of tissue. Again, Aruchi due to improper digestion. Due to improper function of Agni, person is not able to digest the food which he takes. So, due to indigestion, person would not feel like eating anything. He'll have lack of desire for taking food. Klama. Klama means due to damage caused in whole body by circulating ama, person feels exhausted. Person is not able to perform any work. So these are the symptoms against Rotorodha, Balabhransha, Gaurava, Nilamudhata, Alasya, Apakti, Nishtiva, Malasanga, Aruchiklamaha. Lingam Malanam Samanam Niramanam Viparyayaha. So these all symptoms indicates ama, but the symptoms opposite to this are considered as nirama. So what are the symptoms of Niramavastha? So during Niramavastha, the Srotas remains in Prakritavastha. The person would have normal bala. He'll be feeling lightness in the body. There will be Vayu Anulomana. The person will feel energetic and enthusiastic, and he'll have desire to take food. He'll be having normal digestion. The food which he takes is able to digest properly. He'll be having normal bowel movement. There will be no klama, no nishthivana. Now let's see Sama, Dosha and Dushya. What is this? Amena tena samprukta doshaha dushyascha dushitaha sama iti upadishyante yecha rogas tadudbhavaha. A condition in which three doshas and sapta dhatus gets attached or gets permeated with ama, then these doshas and dushyas are termed as sama dosha and sama dushyas, and diseases arising from such consequences are termed as sama vyadhi. Rogas tadudbhavaha. That means these diseases are termed as sama vyadhi. Now let's see how can we differentiate whether this is Samavata and this is Niramavata. So there are some qualities, some properties through which, and there are some actions through which we can perceive whether the dosh is in Samavastha or Niramavastha. So let's see what are the qualities and action performed by Samavata. Vayu Samo Vibandhagni Sadastambhantrapujanaihi Vedana Shodhanistodaihi Kramashongani Pidayan. Means Samavayu causes Vibandha. Vibandha means constipation. Agni Sadha means there will be diminished function of Agni. Stambha means stiffness. Antrakujana, there will be increased vowel sound. Vedana, there will be pain all over the body. Shodha, there will be swelling. Along with pain, you're also able to experience swelling in your body. Nistodaihi, there will be pricking sensation. And Kramashongani, Pidayan, means there will be malaise all over the body. So, if Vata gets permeated with Ama, then person would feel such symptoms like Vibandha, Agnisada, Antrakujana, Vedana, Shodha, Nistodha, malaise, etc. On the contrary, if Vata is in Nirama Vasta, then this Nirama Vayu is clear, that is Vishada. Ruksha means dry. Nirvibandha, free from any obstruction. Alpa Vedana, it causes mild pain, which are alleviated. Viparita Gunaihi Shantim Snigdhe Jati Viseshatah. Means this mild pain is subsided by qualities opposite to this Vata Guna, the gunas of Vata, and it Vata elevating therapies like oleation. Next is Samapitta. Durgandhi haritam shyabam pittam amlam ghanam guru. Amlika rit kanthadahakaram samam vinirdishit. Amlika kanthadahakaram samam vinirdishit. When this pitta gets permeated with ama, then it's termed as Samapitta, and this Samapitta is having foul smell, Durgandhi. Haritam Shyabam, it's greenish or light black in color. Amlam, it's sour in taste. It doesn't spread in the water. It's heavy, that is Guru. It causes sore irritation, that is Amlika. Kantharadahakaram, it causes burning sensation in throat and epigastric region. So, through these symptoms like burning sensation in throat and epigastric region, sour irritation, you can perceive the Samapitta. On the contrary, Pitta in when it's in Niramavastha is Atamram Pitam Atyushnam Rase Katukam Asthiram Pakvam Vigandhi Vigyayam Ruchi Pakti Balapradam. So, if Pitta is in Niramavastha, then it's responsible for Ruchi, for desire in food, Pakti, for digestion, and Balapradam, it gives strength to the body. Naturally, if food gets digested properly, then tissues will be produced properly. They will be able to perform their normal physiological function. That person would have enough strength. Again, if we see the qualities of Niram, that Pitta, then it's slightly coppery and yellowish in color. Atamram Pitam. Atyushnam, it's hot in touch. Katukam, pungent in taste. And Asthiram, it doesn't, Asthiram means it gets mixed with water so easily. Yes, Atyushnam, Atamram, Pitta, Asthiram. Asthiram means it's not of foul smell. Vigandhi means it doesn't have foul smell. Now let's see the symptoms of Samakapha. Avilastantulasthyanah kanthadeshe avatishthate Samo balanam durgandhihi kshud udgara vighata krit. Samakapha is turbid, thick, thready. It gets stuck in the throat. It's having foul smell. It causes complete lack of appetite and obstructs eructation. Should Udgara Vighatakrit means there will be loss of appetite and it will obstruct the eructation. On the contrary, Nirama Kapha is Fenavan Pinditah Panduhu Nissaro Agandha Evacha Pakvasa Eva Vigneyah Chedavan Vaktra Shuddhidah. Niram Kapha is Prodhi, free from threats, pale, free from foul smell, and it cleanses oral cavity. Now let's see Sama Nirama Mala. That is Sama Nirama Purisha Pariksha. This is also termed as Jala Nimajjana Pariksha for Purisha. Majjayatyama Gurutvadvit Pakvatu Utplavate Jale Vina Atidrava Sanghata Shaitya Sleshma Pradushana. Acharya Charak in Grahani Chikitsa Adhyay, he has described this particular examination to know whether the stool is in Samavastha or Niramavastha. So there's one examination. If you put a stool, sample of stool in the water, and if it sinks into the water due to Guruta of Ama, then this is termed as this should be considered as Sama Purisha. But if it floats over the water, then it should be considered as Nirama Mala or Nirama Purisha. But there are some exceptions for this examination. So if stool consistency is too watery, if it's very compact, and if it's vitiated by Shita Guna and Kapha Dosha, then result of this examination, interpretation of this examination is not valid. Sama Vyadhi Lakshana. Kshunnasho Hridaya Shuddhihi Tandra Jatara Gauravaihi Dosha Pravrittihi No Yatra Vyadhihi Amanvitam Vadet. Again, all the symptoms of Ama is repeated here. Kshunnasho means anorexia, Hridaya Shuddhihi, eructations, Tandra, that is lassitude, Jatara Gauravaihi, abdominal heaviness, Dosha Pravritti No Yatra, Dosha Pravritti Naha means there is no evacuation or incomplete evacuation doshas. Dosha should be taken as malas here. That is, there is incomplete evacuation of stool and flatus. So, diseases which are associated with this clinical feature should be termed as Sama. Now, let's see the line of treatment of Ama. Amam jayet langhana koshna peya laghvanna rukshodana tikta yushehi niruhanaihi svedana pachalaischa sanshodhanaihi urdhvamadas tathacha. So here in this quotation, some measures are given for the management of Ama. It is Langhana, Ushna Peya, Laghuanna, Rukshodana, Tiktayusha, Niruhabasti, Svedan, Pachan, Urdhva Sanshodhan and other Sanshodhan. All these measures can be categorized into three categories, that is Langhana, Deepana and Pachana. So these are the main three principles which needs to be taken care of while treating the Amavastha of any disease or Ama. So first of all, Langhana. Sanshodhan, Niruhavasti and Svedan can be considered under the heading of Langhana. Tiktayusha and Ushnapeya comes under the Deepana and Rukshodana comes under Pachana Dravyas. So first of all, let's see what is Langhana. In Langhana, you are advised not to take any food or are advised to take light food. So what will happen during Amavastha? You are already suffering from impaired Agni. You are not able to digest the food, and in this condition, if you are taking more food, then there will be overload on the Agni, and there will be more and more production of Ama. So through Langhana, we are trying to shade the load of Agni. So the existing Agni would have enough time to digest the leftover food or nutrients, leftover foods. In Deepana, what happens? There are some dravyas which improves the status of Agni, but doesn't directly helps into the digestion process of food. So here through Deepan, by giving Deepan Dravyas, we are trying to improve the status of Agni. And by giving Pachan Dravyas are those Dravyas which helps in digestion but doesn't influence the status of Agni. So by giving Pachan Dravyas, we are further trying to help in the digestion process, and through Deepan Dravyas, we are trying to improve the status of Agni. So there are mainly three principles through which we can treat the Amavastha, that is Langhana, Deepana and Pachana. So this is all about the Ama. In whole lecture we have seen many things, like first of all we have tried to understand the Ama through one case scenario. After that we discussed what is Agni, three types of Agni, Jataragni, Bhutagni and Dhatagni. We have seen the process of digestion and metabolism as per Ayurvedic perspective. So this whole process takes place under the influence of these three Agnis. So whenever there is impairment of this Agni, there will be production of Ama. So we have also seen the definition of Ama, classification of Ama, and during classification we have seen the impairment of Agni at various stage of the digestion and metabolism, and uh, through which the Ama is being produced and being able to cause many etiologies and being the root cause of many diseases. After that, we have seen the qualities of Ama. Then we have also discussed the symptoms of Ama through which we can perceive the Amavastha of any disease. After that, we discussed Sama and Nirama Avastha of Dosha and Jalanimajjana Pariksha of Purisha, that is Sama and Nirama Mala Pariksha. And at last, we have discussed the line of treatment of Ama. Thank you.